The first miracle of Jesus occurred at a wedding in Galilee. Jesus turned water into wine to keep the party flowing. This happened here in Cana. Wait, what? The first miracle is in the Gospel of John, when Jesus turns water into wine to help out a wedding party. And yet it's not even mentioned in the other Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. One of the most memorable and significant events in all of Christianity. And yet no one agrees where it happened. Welcome to Around the World of Faith, a space for the spiritually curious, the questioners, and the deconstructors. If you've ever looked at religion and thought, wait, what? You're in the right place. Because if the location of the miracle is in doubt, what does that say about how we hold on to faith? Here's the story. Jesus, his mom, and his disciples are at a wedding in Cana. The wine runs out, a major embarrassment in a culture where hospitality was everything and weddings were multi-day community blowouts. Mary gives Jesus a nudge. He resists, then finally turns water into wine, 6 giant jars worth. That's a lot of Merlot, unless you're Baptist, in which case it was turned into grape juice. So where's Cana? Kafr Cana, just north of Nazareth in modern-day Israel. Catholics will point you to this church in Kafr Cana. Greek Orthodox here, Armenians here, and some Protestants, they're convinced the real site is in a totally different village of Khirbet Cana. 3 sites, 1 miracle, and a whole lot of tourism money on the line. Please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. I'd love to hear from fellow wanderers. So here's the thing. If this were such a central moment, the first miracle, wouldn't somebody have remembered where it happened? You know, some kind of location, a landmark, a hill, a river, something. And yet, millions of people every year visit these Cana sites, buying wine, rosaries, wedding blessings, all with a straight face. Never mind that other official sites exist down the road. Religion's memory is strangely flexible when there's faith or money involved. So why did the location slip through the cracks? Well, maybe because it never happened in the first place. Or maybe because miracles were so common back then, people stopped keeping score. And maybe, most likely, because details got fuzzier the further you are from the party. And John was writing decades later. Spoiler alert, whoever wrote the Gospel of John was not there. But here, the first miracle of Christianity, and the map's gone fuzzy, that's not divine mystery. That's historical amnesia. And the miracle amnesia problem isn't unique to Cana. Some sites get nailed down with uncanny clarity for centuries, like Delphi for the Greek oracles or Varanasi on the Ganges River, but others, not so much. Even within Christianity, the location of Golgotha is disputed. It could be the Church of the Holy Sepulchre or the nearby garden tomb. The exact manger in Bethlehem is also a guess, though the Grotto of the Nativity is polished to perfection. But scholars suggest other caves are more likely, if even true. And Mary's birthplace shifts depending on who you ask: Nazareth, Jerusalem, or even Ephesus. That's in Turkey, hundreds of miles apart, not just a street over. Move outside Christianity and it's the same story. The Buddha's birthplace is claimed by rival sites in Nepal and India. Mount Sinai, at least 3 mountains claim the title of the real one, each with pilgrims, traditions, and a case for why it's the authentic site where Moses got the 10 Commandments. In Islam, multiple spots claim to mark Muhammad's night journey to heaven. In Shinto, sacred mountains like Fuji and Antaki both compete for spiritual primacy. Sacred geography is rarely about GPS coordinates. It's about power, privilege, and profit. So when it comes to where it happened, our ancestors weren't exactly keeping the receipts. When my family visited Kafr Cana, the Catholic site, it felt like any other church in the Holy Land. Tourists, candles, statues, plaques declaring this is the place. We stepped in, soaked in the atmosphere, and for a moment, it did feel significant. But then we learned, oh, by the way, 2 other churches claim the same miracle. I remember standing there thinking, so which one is it? Did Jesus hop around Cana like a miracle bartender? Or are we all just buying into a story that no one really remembers? Our guide, Ahmed, pointed out the domes, golden for Catholic, green for Orthodox, red for Armenian. Michaela asked, "So it happened in that church?" He shrugged. "Yes, if you're Catholic. If you're Orthodox, it happened there. And Armenian, there." 3 miracles, I asked? Maybe one, maybe none. That realization turned my focus from the where to the why. Why do we care so much about a location that may have happened anywhere or nowhere at all? Maybe it doesn't matter where the water turned into wine. The story has lasted not because we know the exact location, but because of what it says. The sacred can show up anywhere. At a wedding, a celebration of family and friends, or maybe even in ordinary moments, sitting at a table or staring at the stars. And maybe that's why we don't need exact clarity. The lesson isn't about the place, it's about the meaning. For me, I don't need to believe that water literally turned into wine to see the beauty of the story. I see a lesson about generosity, abundance, and making sure no one feels left out of the feast. And if you've ever thought the details of religion don't quite add up, but the longing for meaning still does, you are not alone. I promise you, you are not alone. So what do you think? Have you ever visited a place that claimed to be holy only to find out there were several others? Leave your story in the comments. Someone else may need to hear what you have to say. And if you're new here, please like, subscribe, so you can wander on with us to the next stop. And remember, whether it was 1 Cana, 2 Cana, 3 Cana, or 4, the wine still flowed. Thank you.